Hello UCE families and parents. I hope you've had a great week and that this week will be going just as well for you all. So this week for our Soulful Home theme of renewal, our packet is focusing on things around our neighborhood and in the greater world. And in case you didn't see last week's video, we had an introduction with our welcome mat and then a segment called At the Table, where your family could share their thoughts on questions that you can raise over dinner or breakfast or lunch, anytime you have a meal together. We also had our message board and our monthly mantra, which is shake it off. When things just don't go quite right, shake it off. And most of you should have gotten something in the mail this past weekend. And if you still have that, you might want to go get it and share some of the contents in it in a few minutes. For this week, our Soulful Home packet on renewal has a starting point of a segment called Around the Neighborhood. And the purpose of this is to get out and obviously get around your neighborhood a little bit. And for this month, we have a sort of a treasure hunt of sorts, and it all involves chalk. So if you have a piece of chalk or sidewalk chalk, awesome. If not, it's easy to find, and you can probably share with the neighborhood. So some ideas to do with this chalk around your neighborhood are, first, draw some pictures and take pictures of them with a phone, and you can post them on a website called Neighborhood Love Notes. And people from all over are sharing beautiful artwork and very creative and very humorous at times. So check that out if you like. A few more ideas. There is a movement in Europe for people to recognize that weeds growing in the crevices of sidewalks and, parking lots, places like that, are actually beautiful. So Europe has banned, a lot of the countries in Europe, I should say, have banned pesticides in gardening and stuff. So weeds are growing quite a bit. And in order to change the way people look at them, there are some people in England and in France, possibly other countries, that have started a movement where you take your sidewalk chalk, and when you see a weed, you draw a big arrow to it or circle it, and then you write the name of it. And sometimes they even put what's good about that plant. So another thing you could do is, if you don't know the name of a weed, you can get an app for your phone that identifies plants. There are several options out there. And I have one on my phone and it works pretty well. So give it a try. And if you don't recognize something, you can use the app and then find out the name of it. And then do your beauty thing with chalk. Another idea is to write some of the questions from the At the Table segment that you shared with your family, and just write them here or there on a sidewalk around your house, and just gives people something to think about as they're walking by. One of the questions in the packet was, what's new? That's a simple question. Another one might be, what lifts your spirits today? So give that a try and see what happens. Then my last idea with the sidewalk chalk is to start a picture on your sidewalk, but leave a little baggie or a little box of chalk and see if people add to the picture. And then after a few days, before it rains obviously, see what the picture looks like. Our next segment is called At Play. And this is a segment with games and activities that you can do at home or around your neighborhood. And this month, with our theme of renewal, our games and activities focus on reducing stress, because we realize that this is the beginning of a school year for most people. E-learning is obviously a newer thing, can be a little stressful, and parents are feeling a little stressed trying to keep track of all the e-learning for their kids and their youth, in addition to working jobs, whether in the house or not, and just keeping up with daily life. So, a few things that are in the packet I will share with you here. You may have gotten some of these bubbles. Popping these bubbles is a great stress reducer. I always love these. You can stomp on them too. You don't have to pop them with your fingers. Or if you have blow bubbles, a bottle of bubbles, that's a great stress reducer. Another idea would be to just lie down in the grass or on your porch and look up at the clouds and cloud watch and picture what they might be. What do they look like? And do it with a friend or with someone from your family, or even just by yourself. Another game that might be fun to reduce some stress is with a balloon. And you may have gotten a balloon in your packet. And if you did, you could blow it up and just play keep it up, where you have to keep the balloon up in the air and not let it hit the ground. You can do this by yourself or with a sibling, parent, friend, whoever. Also for stress relief, especially with so much screen time with e-learning, for those who have e-learning this year, some little energy breaks might be something simple like doing head, shoulders, knees, and toes. You know that song, head, shoulders, knees, and toes, knees, and toes. That gets you up and moving a little bit. Let's see, another idea is playing the lava game. This was always one of my favorites as a kid, where the floor is molten lava and you cannot step on it. So you might strategically place some pillows or something around the room, or in my case as a kid, I just used the furniture. But if you don't want your kids on the furniture, then pillows on the floor might suffice. And you just have to hop from one to the other and not touch the lava on the floor. Okay, our last segment for this week is called At the Mailbox. And the purpose of this segment is to reach out beyond our neighborhood into the greater world. And our packets this year, the At the Mailbox, will focus more on anti-racism. And this month we have messages from two people. The first one is a man named Julio Rivera, who created a Buddhist meditation app specifically for people of color. So whether or not you are a person of color, you can check out the app. It's called Liberate, and there are some free meditations on it. So pick one and try it out and see what you think, and have other family members do the same. And you might want to have a conversation on why have a special meditation app for people of color, and are the names of these meditations interesting to you, and if so, why? And why do you think they might be called those things? And then the second message in our mailbox this month is in reference to a senator from Arkansas who has introduced legislation that prohibits the schools in that state from teaching the 1619 Project. And in case you haven't heard about the 1619 Project, it is an effort where the goal is to reframe our country's history by placing the consequences of slavery and the efforts and contributions of Black Americans in the center of our national narrative. And so actions that you could take from home are to find out what your school uses as far as curricula that teaches about slavery and anti-racism. If any, maybe there isn't even a curricula they're following. So find out what your schools are using, and depending on what you find out, write a letter to your school board expressing your thoughts and feelings on those efforts. Related to this, you could also donate to the National Association of Black Journalists, and that would be in recognition of the creator of the 1619 Project. Her name is Nicole Hannah Jones. And then lastly, there is a website called the Pulitzer Center, where they have resources that are connected to the 1619 Project that you can use at home. And in the Soulful Home packet that was emailed to you, you will find other resources and links that you can use. So be sure to check that out. And that's all for this week. Next week will be the last segment of our Soulful Home packet, and that will be the Parents' Porch, where parents can gather virtually and share their thoughts and experiences with their favorite beverage if they choose. We'll also have our bedtime story and activity, a blessing, and then the extra mile for those who wish to do something in a little bit addition to what else has been in the packet. So until then, have a safe and wonderful week, and we'll see you next week.